beautiful soul. Welcome to my channel. I'm Jody, and this is where we learn to live beyond the illusion. And man, there's a lot of illusions. So let's dive in. What do I mean? Your story is your reality. Everything in this reality starts with thought. Everything. And I mean everything. You can't have this phone, this camera, this coat, chair, car, you name it, without it first being thought of in the imagination. It's always energy before matter, and that's the same with our reality, because everything starts with thought. Thought's followed by a feeling, which is a chemical reaction in the body, but we are not our bodies. We're not our feelings, we're not our thoughts, yet we can use them while we are here. We are the space between nothingness and physical form, and we decide every minute, all the time, every second, but yet we do it unintentionally and unconsciously because we're caught up in our stories about I can't, I don't, yeah, but I'm here visiting and I'm catching up with some family and I love them all dearly, but I listen and where they're focused, and man, do we focus on our problems and why we can't, instead of remembering who TF we are, that this is just a character and we're made in the image of God. We have that power because we are the field. Whatever label you want to put on it, we are it. We have that capability. But because we're looking outside of ourselves all the time and taking clues from the 3D of who we are and what we can do and can't do and shouldn't do, because we're so good at labeling and defining and giving meaning, usually against ourselves, then we have these stories. But a story can change any minute, because you get to decide always. And you may go, yeah, but this is happening. Yeah, but. Trust me. You can change that yeah, but, because stories against yourself are only there because you give them your awareness, which is your attention, which is your focus, which is your energy. If you change the story and gave a new story as much attention as you're giving an old story or a story you don't want, that's how reality shifts. That's how you bend reality. That's how you quantum jump, whatever newfangled label you want to put on it. It's based on, reality isn't created, so to say, by your thoughts and feelings. It's your identity. But if you keep thinking the same thing and you keep talking about the same thing, I can't, it's the politicians, I have bad health, I have no money, I am not, I don't have, I am not, I don't have, I can't, yeah, but, then you're going to get that story, that reality. Sorry, not that story. You're creating the story. You're going to get that reality. But if you start changing the story because you know who TF you are, and you know that how reality works, it's always by who am I being? Change the identity, change the antenna of frequencies of what you are thinking and feeling. Even though it's not you, you're still projecting that out. So you can have shitty thoughts and shitty feelings as long as you don't identify with them. Now, if you're stuck in that shitty thoughts and shitty feelings all the time, chances are you are identifying with them. But they're not you. That's because you know who you are. You know how reality works. So as long as, if you're having a shitty day, or you're in a situation that isn't the best. And I'm not saying life-threatening or anything, but if something's happening and you don't like it, claim who you are, claim a new end, and live from that story. Then you become that identity, and reality has to shift around you. Why? Because reality is malleable. Why? Because it's always based on who you are being, because it's an energetic, holographic simulation. And I know it's hard for the left brain, the linear, logical, gotta make sense, to comprehend it, but nothing really is logical when you get into the power of you and reality creation. It's illogical. And sometimes the more illogical and a little delulu you can become, the better. Because you've become delusional, creating a reality that goes against yourself because you forgot who the fuck you are. It's really that simple. Not always easy, but it can be. Because you decide. You decide every single second of every single minute. Because we're new every minute, but we keep dragging the past behind. We keep focusing on our problems, and I can't, and I don't have, and I'm not. What if you went to I am, I have, and I can? And at first this might go, yeah, but how? That's not your job, baby. Your job is the what and the why. Let the universe do the how, because it's the field. It's infinite potential. It's infinite possibilities, where this avatar, we're pretty limited. We think we can figure out a problem. What if you just relaxed and let the problem come to you, the solution come to you? Because that's how it works. It really does. Reality is malleable, always depending on who you are being. I'm going to turn around and go back, because otherwise I get on the highway. Not a highway, but busy road. You are the bridge between the unseen and the seen. You are that potent, powerful, beautiful perfection, because you were made in the image of God. That is your truth. And until that becomes your self-identity, concept of self-concept, then you're going to keep telling the same story. Tell a new story. And at first, you might not believe it. You've got the ego mind, the left brain trying to figure out how and when, and no. The more you tell it to get on the right side or screw off or whatever, the better. It'll start quieting down. It might take a little bit. I can't believe how strong my ego was. I was like, holy crap. It just only knows what it knows. And it only knows through its experiences from the 3D. And the 3D is the effect. You are the cause. So why would you not tell yourself a new story, an empowering story, a story on your side, for you, always, always for you? Because that's the truth. You go up here, get a little delulu, have fun. You remember when you were a kid and you knew Christmas was coming, and as it got closer and closer, you got more excited and anticipation? It's like, get into that energy of excitement, anticipation, knowing it is done, knowing Christmas is here, it's coming. We knew when Christmas was happening, but the more you can get into that playfulness, that curiosity, that childlike sense of wonder, the better. You don't have to, but it speeds it up. But in gratitude, What are you grateful for today in your life? Be grateful for what's already happened and what's coming. Every day, it's the best day of my life. My days are so full of magic and miracles, it's incredible. Yesterday, I got to see an eagle. Close. You know, there's always something to be grateful for. The amazing food we're having, the laughs we're having, the family time. Like every day, before I get out of bed, 10 things I'm grateful for. And I try really hard not to repeat anything from the day before. Because life is amazing and there's so much abundance. I mean, look at these trees. Look at the leaves. Look at the pebbles on the ground. Look at the sand. When you spend time in nature, abundance is everywhere. Everywhere. But we've been trained and programmed to believe, like, look at the news. Problem, 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 problem. Who wants to focus on problems when there's so much more? And you may be thinking, but I've got a lot of problems. You know what? You can still focus on possibility. You can still focus on, yeah, but what if? What if? How does it get any better than this? Every day, it gets better and better. Today is the best day of my life. There's so much magic and miracles and abundance in my life, in my reality, because I tell myself a different story. I used to beat myself up like you wouldn't believe. I used to be, oh, fuck, another day. Jeez. Why bother? Nothing works out for me. Kind of energy, right? I did. Because I know what it's like to have problems. I know what it's like to have struggles. But I changed my mindset. Because the eyes don't see. They decode light frequencies. So yes, we see, but it's always based on who am I being? Always. It's like we look through the filters of perceptions, beliefs, and identity. And if they're going against yourself, you're going to have a reality that reflects that back, because that's what reality is. It's the effect. It's the mirror. So start telling yourself a new story. And like I said, it may be uncomfortable at first because it's not your new normal. New normal. But the more you tell yourself it, and hey, like I said, you could just decide and go, that's it. That's it, I'm done. You've had those moments before when somebody's been pushing your buttons, or someone's disrespected you, or you've had enough of your job or something, right? And you go, that's fucking it, I'm done. You need to be that way with your old story. Because your old story, your old identity go hand in hand. So if you want a new reality, tell yourself a new story and step into a new way of thinking and feeling, therefore identity. So as Joe Dispenza says, in order to have a new personal reality, you have to become a new personality. And it can be fast and easy. Abraham Hicks, stop looking at reality and start creating reality. That's how reality works. So I'm going to end it there because I've got to walk fast back because it's colder out than I thought. And I know you're selecting, because that's what we're doing. We're always deciding and selecting to have a fantastic day. So I am so grateful you are here, and I'll see you in the next video.